Do you guys dabble in the stock market? Now, this video is going to be a comparison for sports betting versus the stock market. As of right now, if you're watching this video now, there is a lot of heat on the stock market due to what has been going on lately. We are going to address some of that and see exactly how that compares to sports betting as well, and see which one should you really probably focus on more. Should you focus on the stock market more, or should you focus on sports betting more? So we're going to get into detail and talk about that. But before we do, if you guys do like this video, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, as well as hit the subscribe button with that bell right next to there, so that way you guys get notifications every time we pump out one of these educational videos for you, the sports bettor. In the description, guys, check out our website at linemakersports.com. If you want our picks and our plays, they are in there on our website. If you need a sports book anywhere in the US, don't matter if it's legal or not in your state, the link to BetUS is in our description as well. They are a pretty solid sports book with a pretty good deposit bonus for first-time bettors. One more thing I do want to mention as well, if you guys are interested in free plays, if you guys are interested in a podcast that we do, Unsportsmanlike Conduct Podcast, we have a YouTube channel for that. The link for that will be in the description as well. So make sure you guys subscribe to that channel. That's where our future free plays and a lot of discussion of sports nowadays is going to be transferred through. Without further ado, let's jump over to the whiteboard and let's talk about the stock market versus sports betting. So let's break it down a little bit. First thing off, let's just talk about fluidity, all right, with the stock market versus sports betting. So with stocks, it takes months, it takes years to really see a little bit of an ROI on there, unless really you're kind of a day trader with a pretty heavy bankroll for day trading. Then it takes a long time. Stocks do take a long time, and we do preach too that sports betting does take a long time as well. But it depends on how you look at sports betting. If you bet sports the right way, of course, it takes a little bit of time as well, as in there's only really one way to bet stocks, because you can't really go in there and like put all your money on red and and see a result like that in the stock market. As towards like sports betting, you could go ahead and put all your money on one team and you could double up your account real quick. If that's what you're into, which we say that's just not what to do anyway, but you can do that. That's an option in sports betting. That's really not an option in the stock market. So if you go out and put a bunch of money in Tesla, you're not going to double your money that same day, boom, within a couple hours or not. All right. So that is another difference when it comes to sports betting versus the stock market. You can see a negative or a positive result within really a couple hours. As soon as the game is over, you'll know if you lost or if you won money. As in a stock market, you're going to see either a decline for a little bit and then go up. That's the stock market for you, up and down, up and down, up and down, which is similar to sports betting over the long term. Over the long term in sports betting, you see the same thing. You see it going up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. That's just how it goes. Both go hand in hand when it comes towards long term. But it has been proven in the long term, sports betting can rack you up a serious, percentage of an ROI compared to the stock market. Now, I do want to address this in this video. I'm not sitting here banking on one side, telling everybody to you should be betting on sports rather than stock market. This is just a comparison. We're just doing a friendly comparison here of both. We're not really taking sides on either sides because we do both. We're just going to analyze both sides of the table here. But yes, like I said, in sports betting, you can get a negative result or a positive result matter of hours as soon as that game is over. Stock market, you're really not going to know. You can know if you gained a percent or two on your money, at the end of the trading day. You'll be able to know that, but it's not going to be like a quick double up or not. It's not really going to happen. When it comes to sports betting versus the stock market, they're pretty similar when it comes over the long term, but you have the option in sports betting to be able to go out and double an account real quick off of one game in a matter of a couple hours, or lose all your money in a couple hours. Rather with big stocks in the stock market, you can't go out there and get a quick double up. So that's the little comparison right there between the fluidity of the stock market versus sports betting. All right, next thing I want to talk about is the inefficiency of the market. Your average gambler, this is what happens, okay? And whether you don't like to hear it or not, because most people watching this are gamblers, either side, you're a gambler, okay? Let's just state that the fact right there. If you're in the stock market, you're gambling. If you're in sports betting, you're gambling. Either way is gambling. One is just considered ethical and one's considered non-ethical. We'll talk about that a little bit more later in this video of why that is. But your average gambler expects to lose. That's just the way it is. You go in there, you place bets on sports betting. Not a lot of people go in there thinking, I'm about to make a whole bunch of money. They don't. They just don't think that. That's just their average gambler. They go into that thinking they're going to lose. I don't know why, but that's just the mentality of a gambler. You always have the negative thought in your mind that money that you're going out and putting on the sport on a game, you're not getting back. You're just automatically thinking that, like, this is money that I'm probably not going to get back. Now, take for people in the stock market, people that put money in mutual funds, brokerage accounts, they're only putting money in those accounts because they only think they're going to make money. They don't think they're going to lose money at all. So they go in there with that mindset thinking, I'm just going to make money. I'm not going to lose money whatsoever. It's going to be able to make me some type of money, whether it's very small or whatnot, but I'm not going to lose any money. So the mental aspect of your stock market person and your sports betting person are complete opposite when it comes to this. This is what I'm saying. The market is very opposite when it comes to this. Your sports betting mind is giving money thinking you're probably not going to get it back, as towards your stock market people are giving money expecting to get more in return. All right, this is just the mindset between the two, and for some reason it is what it is. That's the way an average gambler looks at things, but in reality they're both gamblers. Okay, you're both gamblers. Both sides are gambling with their money. So when it comes to the comparison of both, like I said, in the market in both, definitely completely two different mindsets when they go into the investment on both sides. All right, so next thing I do want to cover now is the rules. All right, what's the rules behind all this stuff between the stock market and sports betting? Now, here's something that, of course, this one's probably going to seem like I'm leaning a little bit more on the sports betting side, but I'm going to explain to you exactly why. All right, so the rules, let's talk about the government first when it comes to stocks. It seems like the government can control stocks and do whatever they want. All right, it's hard on sports betting. They can't really govern that. They're not going to. Just for an example, you're watching this video right now. It's pretty current times of what has happened with GameStop, the Robinhood scandal, stuff like that. Right now, if you're watching this now, it's in current times of what was happening with that, with the stock market and everything like that. Basically, whole bunch of people were about to make money off of this, and they just put a whole stop on it. Okay, so let's put a comparison with that to sports betting. Let's say the MGM Grand Sportsbook. Let's go ahead and say for the Super Bowl, I mean, everybody went and put their money on the Chiefs. Everybody, the whole entire country, everybody went and put their money on the Chiefs at the MGM Sportsbook. Let's say the Super Bowl starts out, and then all of a sudden the Chiefs are up 28-0 in the third quarter, and all of a sudden they come out and cancel the whole entire game and shut the whole game down and say, listen, we can't continue no more. Everybody that had their money on the Chiefs, listen, you can't make no more money off of them. That's it. It's done. You can't. It's totally done. That's exactly what just happened in the stock market. So here's the thing. This can't happen in sports betting. They're not going to go out of their way and go ahead and stop a game in the middle of everything because there's so much money on one side. Whether or not, no matter what happens, sports betting, they're going to pay you out. All right. And a lot of these sports books, some of these overseas sports books, offshore sports books, they screw up sometimes on their lines, and you can exploit those. They have to pay them. They do, because it's happened multiple times. I've seen it happen a lot of times where they screw up and you can take advantage of it. They have to pay it. That happens in the stock market, and they're not paying you, okay? Just to say, government's not coming through with that money for you. That's just the way that it is. So when it comes to sports betting, like I said, there's no gray area in sports betting where they could shut a game down right in the middle of a game and tell you, listen, you can't bet no more. You can't make no more money off of this. They can't do that in sports betting. But obviously in the stock market, they can, because we just seen it happen. When it comes to a comparison of both things like that, right now in current times, there's so many people transitioning right now from the stock market to sports betting for the reason of what just happened between GameStop, AMC, and the Robinhood whole scandal thing that went on there. So a lot of people just transitioned to sports betting just because of that, because like I said, it just went out and just plain out stopped the whole market, said you can't buy any more shares, you can't do this, we're going to limit everything that you do because it's too much. You're going to make money. You're going to make money, and we can't allow you to do that. Sports books can't do that. Sports betting is not going to do that. Nobody in that industry, no sports books are going to shut down their line completely and tell you, listen, there's too much money. You guys are going to make too much money on this line. There's no way. We're not paying it out. That's not going to happen. Sports books got to pay out no matter what. The only thing in sports betting that they can do is when you start making so much money, they can limit you how much you're going to bet. All right. And that means down the road of consistently winning and making a lot of money, they're going to be able to limit you. All right. Now, I know some people will go comment and say some sports books limited me after $500 bets. Those are offshore accounts. We're talking about major sports books like in Vegas, sports books in Atlantic City, that type of stuff. We're not talking about offshore little sports books that limit you off your action off of $500. But sports betting, you can be limited. They can limit you the amount of money that you're going to spend. All right. So that is the one little downfall in the, little gray area maybe for sports betting. All right. So when it comes to a comparison of those two, definitely we're leaning towards sports betting when it comes to the rules aspects between sports betting and the stock market. All right. Next thing I'm going to talk about here is your access to info. All right. So in sports betting, you got plenty of access on the internet to anything you want to know about basically what's going on in the game. Your injury reports, the stats, news about the team. You can go ahead and research all that stuff, and you don't need a degree, okay? Let's go ahead and flip to the stock market edge of this. You can go ahead and research stuff all you want. You can go ahead and look at, the earnings reports and stuff like that. But let's just be honest. Most of y'all don't even know what the hell you're looking at when you're looking at all that stuff. You need an MBA maybe to go in and decipher all the stuff that you're looking at. You don't need that really in sports betting. You just need to know you just need to know who's playing and who's not. You need to know statistics on the teams, how the teams play, their defense, their offense, how they play on certain possessions. You don't need really a schooling for that, compared to like stock market. You need some training in that. You really do need to know what the hell you're even looking at when it comes to stocks and what to look for and yields and dividends and all that stuff. You got to look. You have to be able to check that stuff out and know what it is that you're even looking at to be able to exploit anything. All right. So when it comes to sports betting, like I said, you can look at your injury report and all the trends and stuff like that. And basically you can get a good concept. Your average Joe can get a concept. You don't have to go to school for something like that. And you'll be able to really decipher and make a certain judgment just off of a little bit of information that you're reading that is basically makes sense to you. I want to say, I honestly, looking into the stocks and stuff like that, I really never knew what the hell I was looking at until I had to go dive real deep and go into real research on some of this stuff and even know what the hell any of it even means. Because they could go ahead and they could jump out a bunch of gibberish. Your little stock market touts basically is what you call them, where they have their websites, they tell you what big stock to go on next, and they could just throw a bunch of gibberish in there because half your average Joe isn't even going to know what the hell they're talking about. It's hard to do that when it comes to sports betting. Like, yeah, you could throw statistics in there and a bunch of that stuff, but you're still going to basically grasp the concept of exactly what they're trying to get across by telling you about a certain team or whatnot. So your access to info, a little bit, it's equal kind of on each side, but you're going to make more sense of a sports betting info than you really are of the stock market info that you have access to. All right. So when it comes to access to info, they're basically a little bit even, but it depends on what you really can understand. Sports betting, you don't really got to go into a lot of deep research and look up lingo to be able to understand what they're trying to get across. When it comes to stock market, you definitely do, because then you're not going to know exactly what any of the terms mean. Really, you're not going to know anything that you're looking at, what any of it means. All right. So when it comes to access to info, a little bit even on both sides, but the easier way definitely would probably point towards sports betting. All right, guys, so moving right along, basically in the wrap up here, let's talk a little bit about, just the comparison overall and when it comes to sports betting versus the stock market. I'm going to leave this one up to you guys, this last segment. Go in the comments, your stock market people and your sports betting people. I want to see you guys fighting it out in the comments to see exactly what you guys think about all this, all right? But let's get to it. Now, when it comes to the stock market, you're looking at basically numbers all day, all right? You're looking at numbers about companies that you really probably don't know nothing about. Not too much exciting. That's not really exciting, right? It's really not. Watching numbers for companies that you really don't know nothing about, going up and down, up and down, up and down, and that's about it. Now let's go to your sports bettor. They're watching their favorite teams, their favorite players that they probably know all about them. You want to see Odell Beckham out there, reaching out and getting crazy catches. You want to see, just your favorite teams playing, excitement, and you're making money on top of it, or you're losing money on top of it. But when it comes to that, it's just sports betting is just plain fun. It's plain fun compared to the stock market. All right. It's just overall. And this is in my opinion, obviously, when it comes to which one's more fun. Obviously, sports betting is more fun because it's just you get to watch your result right in front of you and enjoy yourself rather than sitting in front of a computer screen and numbers are flickering and you don't even know what's going on. You're honestly behind the scenes. You have no clue what's going on. So you don't know where these numbers are coming from, why it's going up, why it's going down. You have no clue. At least you know if Syracuse is getting blown out by 50 points on the basketball court, they're probably not making any shots, and you can see that for your own eyes right in front of you, right? So that's why it's a little bit more entertaining to bet on sports than it is to bet on the stock market, all right? So I say bet on both sides because it brings me to my last point here, guys. Gambling is gambling. No matter which way you put it, no matter the government regulates one and they don't want to regulate the other, in the end, it's still gambling, because the stock market can crash and you can lose all your money. You can go and put all your money on one team and you can lose your whole entire bankroll. That's just the way it is. When it comes down to it, both sides are gambling. And when people want to sit there and preach one over the other, guys, the argument always comes down to the final thing. Gambling is gambling. It does not matter. Both sides, you're going to either win money or you're going to lose money. It just depends on how you're going to do it and if you're going to enjoy yourself doing it or not. So that I leave up to you guys. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this and about anything with the sports betting versus the stock market. Let me know, what do you guys think is the better thing to look at? All right. In conclusion, like I said, gambling is gambling, whether it is the stock market or it is sports betting. So hopefully you enjoyed that video, guys, about the stock market versus sports betting. Now, in the comments section, like I mentioned, I want to see the stock market guys and the sports betting guys. I want to see you guys fighting it out. I want to see which side takes control, all right? Which one of you guys out there, who's going to say on which side, how are you guys going to argue that point? In the description as well, make sure you guys check out our website at linemakersports.com if you want our picks and plays. If you need a sports book, if you're looking for a sports book, Bet US, no matter where you're at in America, guys, the link is in our description as well. Good sign-up bonuses, and they are a pretty solid sports book. So as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Till next time, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys later.